Okay, kids, we are here in Austin, Texas, and I am in the Museum of Weird in Austin, Texas. You'll have to check it out. There's a lot to see.
So, folks, right here, right behind this door right here is currently the owner's residence, but back in 1991 was the residence of Johnny Depp. He lived here while they were filming What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It was filmed just outside of Austin in Leander, Elgin, and Maynard. At the time, he was playing guitar with a band called P. He had a roommate who was also part of this band, Mr. Gibby Haynes.
Okay, tell me where I am. Where am I?
We are at the Museum of the Weird in Austin, Texas. We are at 412 East 6th Street, right between Natchez and Trinity. We're one of the last dime museums in the U.S. today.
Good to be here. Good to meet you, Juan.
Nice to meet you, too. And the first bit of this act involves something everybody's familiar with. A common household mousetrap. I'm sure each and every one of you have seen one of these before. And if you've ever had your fingers stuck in one, well, there's a good chance that you'll never do it again. They are part of my act, you see, so I suppose I can't avoid them. Now, the sound of a mousetrap always brings me back to my childhood, you see. Saturday morning cartoons. Tom and Jerry was my absolute favorite. Yes, each and every time it was on TV, I stopped everything I was doing to watch this show. A lot of mousetraps in Tom and Jerry, and let's just say, I wanted to be just like the cartoons. Long story short, I got my fingers caught in a lot of mousetraps. And each and every time I had a mousetrap snap on this finger right here, my parents would say, that kid's never gonna learn. Of course, it's not true, because I did learn something. You see, I learned to set up mousetraps quite easily, so at least I got back to one for me, you know. Now, the first thing you'll notice is obviously I'm far too large to fit inside these traps. You know, if I did, it'd be a different show. The world's smallest man. Like I can dream. But I've got to come up with another way to entertain and amuse you. I'm here's to hoping that what I've come up with is sufficient enough. Does not feel bad, but definitely on there. No. Just 1 second, I thought that. You see, they say it's rude to talk to your mouth full of food. Well, listen, if that first bit of the paint-proof man did not impress, it's quite alright, because the next bit uses a slightly larger trap. Now, here in my hands, a whole lawn spring trap, a model number 1.5. These traps here are actually illegal to use in most states here in the U.S., except for a select few, the big one, of course, being Texas. Now, just to demonstrate to you folks how this works, it's quite simple, you see. Open up the jaws like so, and set this pin underneath this trigger, and then the next thing you know, lo and behold, you got yourself a brand new fur coat. Maybe a nice pair of fuzzy boots. You know, whatever floats your boat. But now that we understand how this works, let's go ahead and set this up just one more time. Now, I always take this second to say that I do love performing. How could I not? I mean, I love the sideshow. I love everything we do with it. But if there's one thing I've always heard about love, it's that love hurts. And I suppose in this case, that love bites would be a little more appropriate. Don't look so nervous. You won't feel a thing. This hand is with one solid piece, and moving these fingers needs metal fractures. Well, it always goes back to people thinking I'm bluffing my way through this, So I have this one simple test that I'd like to do to prove this thing is real. If you'd like to help me out, you don't have to stand up, you can stay seated. I'm just going to swing this chain out towards you. I want you to grab that ring. So go and grab the ring. Grab the ring. Grab the ring. Okay. Hold on to that ring real tight. Give it a good little pull. Let's prove the thing's really on there. It's definitely not going anywhere, right? Thank you. That's what makes this such an effective piece of equipment. You know, I'd shake your hands, but I'm a little preoccupied. Thanks for helping me out. Now getting my hand in between these two jobs on the first bit of the act. You see, I can't walk around like this all day. It's inconvenient. People would stare. So the next bit of the act involves me retrieving this hand back. There you have it, no lacerations, contusions, or fractures. Hey, it's a fully functioning hand, and that's why they call me the pain-proof man. Now I've been doing these acts for going on 4 years now, and when I started off as a traveling performer, I'd go from place to place and venue to venue, crammed into a van full of 14 other weirdos. 15 of us total, each and every one of us presented one act, and the act that I did, the Human Blockhead. Now, if you've never heard of the Human Blockhead, it's quite alright. You see, I've heard a lot of people say the reason why it's called the Blockhead, you have to be a real blockhead to attempt it. Now we'll need a few things for this act, and the first thing will be one claw hammer. Just an ordinary everyday hammer like you get at your hardware store, here, there, anywhere. Say you got a hammer, the next thing you'll probably need will be one nail. Now what makes this such an unusual act with the last thing I need, and the last thing I need is one human head. Folks, I'm going to use this hammer right here to drive this nail into the very center of my skull. Right before your eyes, you have to see it to believe it. And if it doesn't pan out, the exit the same way you came in. Please watch your step on the way out. So here we go. And there you have it, 5 inches of steel into the very center of my head. See, the bright side is, it's the fastest way to clear the sinuses that I know of. Yes, each and every time you have trouble breathing, grab a nail and shove it back there. And you too can be breathing freely in no time. And if it doesn't work, all your troubles are over with. Now, as the old saying goes, what goes in must come out. There you have it, safely extracted. On stage and I can hammer nails in my face all day, but that's not the reason why they keep me around, you see. They keep me around for what I'm going to demonstrate next. The ancient and honorable art of sword swallowing. Now, sword swallowing has its origins in India in 2000 BC. This 4,000-year-old act is considered to be one of the oldest performing arts in all of human history. In the world today, an estimated 100 sword swallowers are still performing, 1 in every 250 million people. I'm the only sword swallower in Austin. I'm one of 7 in the entire state of Texas, on my count. Now this right here is the shortest sword a performer can swallow and still be considered a sword swallower, according to the people at the Sword Swallowers Association International. That being said, a lot of people believe sword swallowing is a magic trick. They believe it's an illusion. I hear it all the time. In fact, the explanation I hear most often, the blade of the sword collapses into the handle. So to demonstrate to everybody here that what I'm doing is indeed the genuine article, let's take the handle out of the equation, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and dismantle this handle, placing all components of it on this table over here, so when the handle comes apart, the only thing that remains in my hand is the blade itself. I will then in turn swallow this blade and take a deep bow before each and every one of you, so we can be sure that there are no room for magic tricks or illusions, because this right here is the real deal. Now, there's an old saying in this business, down the hatch without a scratch. Now folks, this being the shortest sword a performer can swallow and still be considered a sword swallower, let me tell you, for some people, well, it's not that impressive. Quite all right. See, I did come prepared. After swallowing that sword right there, let's move up to 24 inches of steel. This sword here will go over the lips, between the gums, behind the heart, between the lungs. The tip of the sword here will rest right at the very bottom of my stomach, roughly about here. Yes, the tip of the blade will narrowly miss all vital organs by mere millimeters as it descends into the very center of my core. The problem is that everybody here has already seen me swallow a sword once. So let's make this one a little more interesting. And while the sword's suspended inside of my body, by golly, I'll juggle those 3 clubs over there. Believe it or not, for some people, regular sword swallowing is not enough. Now, as far as I know, I'm one of less than 10 in the world right now doing this act. So one last time, here we go. Down the hatch, without a scratch. By the way, if the clubs go that way, feel free to duck. You see, with the low ceiling, I can't make any promises. You gotta be careful, you know. I broke an arm once doing this, and I still feel bad for the kid. Okay, here we go. Yeah. And that right there is definitive proof, once and for all, that men can't do 2 things at once. Well, folks, if you have any questions for me, you're welcome to ask. If you'd like to snap some more photos of the King Kong, you're welcome to. After this, we do have one more thing to see before I turn you loose on that first floor. We're all going to go check out the Iceman. I want to say thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. That was some pretty interesting tricks.
Hey, you're welcome. You know,
is your mom proud of this?
Oh, you know, she didn't find out till she saw me on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh my God."
She said as long as it pays the bills and it keeps you out of trouble.
she didn't make you guarantee safety? Take a life insurance policy?
None of that. No. Just
do you have life insurance?
Yes, I do.
Good job. Good job. All right. Thanks for the show.
Hey, you're welcome, man.